It takes courage to pause in a world that rushes us forward, to stop and ask, who am I, really? That question is the beginning of a journey. It's the opening of a path that doesn't lead outward, but inward, a path called self-discovery. And let me tell you something right away, self-discovery is not a luxury. It is not an indulgence. It is the most necessary, most human, and most courageous thing you will ever do. We live in a world that constantly tells us what we should be. It tells us how we should look, how we should talk, what job we should pursue, what success means. From the moment we're old enough to listen, the noise begins. And if we're not careful, we start to believe that noise is truth. That it's us. But it's not. You are not your job. You are not your past. You are not your followers or your resume or your GPA or your bank account. You are something deeper. You are a story unfolding, a mystery being revealed, a soul with infinite potential. And that is why self-discovery matters. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you sat in stillness, not scrolling, not distracted, not performing, and asked yourself, what do I really want? What lights me up? What do I believe in? Not because someone told me to, but because I felt it in my bones. We avoid those questions because they're hard. Because they strip away the masks. Because they force us to look at ourselves without filters, without excuses, without expectations. But within that discomfort lies freedom. Self-discovery begins when we stop outsourcing our worth. When we stop defining ourselves by other people's standards and begin listening to our own inner voice, however quiet, however unsure it might be at first. You were not born to be a copy. You were born to be an original. But to become that, you must be willing to meet yourself, truly and fully. Self-discovery isn't always pretty. It's not all yoga retreats and vision boards. Sometimes it's crying in your car at 2 a.m. Sometimes it's admitting that you've been living a life that doesn't belong to you. Sometimes it's walking away from things that once made you feel safe, because deep down, you know they're holding you back. But let me tell you, there is power in that unraveling. Because every time you break down a false version of yourself, you make space for truth. Every time you face your fears, your wounds, your contradictions, you step closer to wholeness. And wholeness isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity. It's about becoming someone who can look in the mirror and say, I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know what I want from this life, and I'm not afraid to go after it. That kind of self-knowledge is not just beautiful. It's unshakable. It's the foundation for everything meaningful, relationships, careers, dreams, peace. Here's the hard truth. No one can walk this path for you. You can read every self-help book. You can listen to every podcast. But if you don't do the inner work, if you don't sit with yourself, confront your truths, and ask the hard questions, nothing changes. There is no map for self-discovery. No one-size-fits-all plan. Because your journey is yours. Your pain, your joy, your purpose, they're unique. And while it might feel lonely sometimes, you are never truly alone. Because the more authentically you show up in the world, the more you attract the people, opportunities, and experiences that are aligned with who you really are. So trust the process, even when it's messy, even when it hurts. Especially then, because diamonds are formed under pressure. Stars are born from chaos. And the most beautiful versions of ourselves often rise from the ashes of the lives we thought we had to live. Remember who you were before the world told you who to be. That curious, creative, fearless child who danced without music, who asked 1,000 questions, who didn't apologize for taking up space, that child is still in you. And they are waiting to be rediscovered. Self-discovery is about peeling back the layers that time, trauma, and society have wrapped around you. It's about reconnecting with your essence, not to go backward, but to move forward with integrity and clarity. Don't silence that voice anymore. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't settle for a life that doesn't feel like your own. You owe it to that child within you, to that spark that's still burning, to live boldly, to speak honestly, to choose paths that make your heart come alive. When you discover yourself, you begin to reclaim your power. You stop chasing validation and start creating value. You stop fearing rejection because you know your worth isn't up for debate. You make decisions not out of fear, but from alignment. You stop existing and start living. And here's what's truly magical. The more you know yourself, the more you give others permission to do the same. Your authenticity becomes contagious. Your courage becomes a lighthouse for those still lost in the fog. We don't change the world by being perfect. We change it by being real. By showing up, again and again, as our truest selves, flawed, growing, unapologetic. Maybe you're here today and you feel stuck. Maybe you're at a crossroads. Maybe you've lost yourself in the chaos of life. That's okay. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Because every moment, every breath, is an invitation to begin again. To choose differently. To turn inward and ask, what would it look like to honor who I really am, right now? Self-discovery doesn't happen in a single moment. It's a lifelong unfolding, but every step you take matters. Every insight, every choice, every act of self-love, it builds the foundation of a life rooted in truth. Final words, a call to remember. So I leave you with this. Don't just exist. Discover. Don't just follow the script. Rewrite it. Don't wait for permission. Give it to yourself. Because within you is a wisdom the world needs. A light no one else can shine. A voice no one else can speak with. You are the author of your story, the architect of your becoming. And your journey of self-discovery is not just about you. It's about everyone you will touch, uplift, and inspire when you finally become who you were always meant to be. So go. Be brave. Get quiet. Dig deep. Make mistakes. Heal. Try again. But whatever you do not abandon yourself. Because everything you're searching for, purpose, peace, power, it's already inside you. All you have to do is look within. Thank you.